Tracking the potential for power shutoffs and fire danger with our weather impact alert headlines ahead. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods. And before we get started, wanted to let you know also that we've got a lot of these in-depth forecasts, which we'll continue to have, as well as explainers on our ABC 10 Plus streaming app. So you want to make sure to download that, especially as we start to head into this dangerous time frame with fire danger ahead. You can see all the counties that will be part of the potential for these public safety power shutoffs starting Thursday, lasting through potentially Saturday. This is a large area of California that in light of these winds coming through, sometimes we have those power shutoffs to eliminate the risk of a power line coming down, sparking a fire and spreading quickly, all aided by these gusty conditions. As you can see, by Thursday night, wind gusts will be approaching about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Now, they'll be most problematic on the west side of the valley, through the valley, and then in parts of the foothills. But they really start to get going here during our Thursday evening. That's when this wind advisory starts up. It will last through Friday evening at 11 p.m. Now, this is a smaller area than, say, our red flag warning, which extends farther to the north throughout California, as well as to the south and over towards the coast. You'll also notice this will last through Saturday evening at 5 p.m. for that red flag warning. The reason being, those are dry, gusty winds. It's going to lower the humidity, and it's going to take some time to recover from that. Our weather impact alert headlines continue to showcase the timeline being late Thursday through Friday and Saturday, with the main impact being wind, dealing with the fire danger, and so the need to continue to have that fire safety plan, the ready-go bag at the ready, as well as the evacuation plan ready to go. Our live radar showing the migration of those showers moving their way eastward. Not much left behind it, at least for the lower elevations. We'll talk about the potential of perhaps some wraparound moisture affecting parts of the Sierra. In the meantime, not a lot of wetting rain for the lower elevations. And again, this just isn't enough soaking rain to end our fire danger and head into the wet season. Just kind of some moisture that increased. That was about it. Some of us just didn't even see any measurable rain. Got about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of rain since midnight for the foothills and the Sierra. Most of it was rain for the Sierra as well. Take a look at the dry season. It has been quite some time since we've seen a soaking rain, and that's why we talk about the fall season being the most dangerous time for some of these wind events. May 4th was the last time that we saw any sort of rainfall over 1/10 of an inch for downtown Sacramento. We got a little amount for August, 4/100ths of an inch, but overall it has been dry since the beginning of May. So that's going to put us at 165 days and counting since we've had a good soaking rain in Northern California. That's going to lead to the fuel dryness. We track this throughout, especially the dry season. Here on the blue line, that's the current level, and then we're going to kind of highlight where we are right now. Now, what happened over October is that we got this pulse of extreme heat, in fact, record-setting heat with the start to October, and that brought us into some dangerous categories here, some higher level of the risk of big fires breaking out. We got some cool weather, and so that fuel dryness came down just a little bit. And now we're starting to edge towards the projected in this green line. I know that can be hard to see, but the green line showing that we're going to increase the fuel dryness once again. So everything kind of primed for rapid fire growth, especially with these winds. Here's a look at some of the heat that I was talking about. Beginning of October, 100s and a stretch of them. The hottest day that we've ever recorded in the month of October for downtown Sacramento was this year, when we hit that 103-degree high, plus the most amount of 100s in any October month since record keeping began. Today was an anomaly for this month, 77 degrees. We are going to see those temperatures come up slightly, but nothing extreme. Just wanted to highlight what I'm talking about in terms of our peak fire season. California's deadliest fires, the top 4, all occurring in October and November, and also the most destructive fires all happening, at least the top 4, in October through November. The North Complex is the one that stands out. That happened in August. But again, that was digging deeper into the drier part of the year. Here's the driving low associated with that cold front. It's to the north of us here. It is going to move its way southward and just east of the state. So that's going to give the best opportunity of seeing any of those remnant showers through the Sierra for tomorrow. We'll start the day off with some cloud cover. That's going to help with humidity levels, at least, to start us off for the day. And then by the afternoon, we see a slight chance of those returning showers there for the Sierra. Slight chance of a lingering snow shower, but that's about it for our Thursday. Then all eyes are going to be on the wind event that will be developing. Now, before we even get to that, though, this was a cold system. I showed you those temperatures dropping into the 70s. We've got a freeze warning in effect for parts of the Sierra. This just shows you the land of extremes that California has. Excessive heat, then onto the cold temperatures, just a very little bit of rain and snow, and then into a wind event that will lead us into the higher fire danger. So it's just pretty much everything goes this time of year. This will begin on Friday at 2 a.m. It lasts through 9 a.m. Again, north of the Sierra, where sub-freezing conditions are going to be present throughout northeast California with that pulse of cool air coming through. Right after that, once we get into those north winds, it's going to warm us up for the afternoon. So we'll get back to near normal temperatures. This was just a brief little drop in those cooler conditions. Here's the setup that's going to drive those winds. That low pressure system within reach of California, the high coming in from the Pacific, and we're right in between those very different weather systems here, driving those north and offshore winds, which are very dry as they head throughout the valley and come through the Sierra, moving their way west. And that's going to top those weather impact alert headlines. The gusty, dry winds, possible power issues, including the potential for those safety shutoffs, and then our fire weather concerns that will continue through our Saturday. Our weather alerts, wind advisory in place late Thursday, takes us through Friday. And again, that's going to be in a smaller area than, say, that red flag warning, which will extend all the way down the coast. And that's why these are some of the regions that will be affected potentially by those power shutoffs, just trying to prevent a spark from happening. All right, let's take a look at the full folder of winds that are going to be happening here over the course of our Thursday, Friday, and Saturday forecast. We start to see those ramp up on Thursday evening. So we'll see that happening here. And then during the day on Friday, still a very gusty start to our Friday. So for the morning commute, walking or riding the bike or getting out for that morning exercise is going to be difficult. Even getting the kids off to school, if you happen to walk them into school, it's going to be very breezy out there. Hold on to any papers that you have. By the time we get to our Friday evening, still quite gusty out there. We're starting to see some of this subside ever so slightly, but we get another little pulse coming through early Saturday, especially for the west side of the valley, and then through parts of the foothills and parts of the Sierra. But those humidity levels will already be taking a hit. So even though the winds start to die down ever so slightly Saturday, it's the humidity that will already be in a very dangerous position here. Thursday is when we see that red flag warning go into effect. Humidity levels will have very little recovery. You can see I've got the wind barbs right here showing the direction, those arrows, where we're going to see those north winds throughout the valley and then those offshore winds in the foothills and the Sierra. So those will dry and warm as they head down in elevation, kind of contributing to all of the access to that dry air. By the time we get into Friday afternoon, humidity levels have dropped to single digits all the way near the coast for Fairfield, down to 7%. Auburn in the foothills, 9%, as well as through parts of the valley. That's going to give us a significant fire potential for our Friday, even into our early Saturday forecast throughout the valley and towards the coast, with those lowering relative humidity numbers, as well as those gusty, dry winds that'll be moving their way through the valley. As far as our fire season comparison, we're down a little bit from that 5-year average for total acreage, but we've had more fires burn in the state. We're well ahead of where we were last year at this point. Last year was kind of an anomaly for the 5-year average, since we had less acreage, less fires. That was coming off of that record-setting year for the Sierra with the snowpack. It was a drought buster year as well, so that helped to kind of keep a lot of the fuel moisture intact. As far as our future cast, what are we expecting here? I mentioned this, the low will be dropping its way eastward, and that's what gives us the best opportunity of seeing some lingering showers tomorrow for the east side of the state. Now, once that low positions itself in the desert southwest, That's where we get the active wind event happening during our Friday. Those would be the peak winds that we're dealing with overnight Thursday through Friday. The high eventually takes over. It's going to dry us out. And as far as the long range forecast, now it is looking likely cooler just north of Sacramento through the Pacific Northwest. We're going to kind of be on the bubble here of seeing some of the active weather come through. Now, the Climate Prediction Center is still saying likely wetter in extreme northern California. I am watching some moisture come in with the increased chances for some rain by the end of our forecast period. You can see this band of rain coming through. It's just a matter of how much this will hold together by the time we get deep into that long range forecast. So a lot to watch there in the longer range forecast, which will be putting us, by the way, very close to Halloween. Highs for tomorrow in the 50s for this year. Look at those overnight lows only in the 30s. It's going to be a very crisp start to our Thursday. Highs will be in the 50s and 60s down low for the foothills. Again, morning lows starting off in the 40s and 50s. Along the coast, it's going to be a dry day, a windy one developing late in the evening. Temperatures topping out near 70 for San Francisco. We head inland. We're not going to see too much warmth building for tomorrow. We're still kind of in that quiet period in between that high moving in, the low departing. Morning lows throughout the valley, low to mid 50s. It's going to be a chilly start to our Thursday. Highs will warm into the mid 70s throughout the region with mostly sunny skies. We'll see a slight chance of those showers coming through for the Sierra tomorrow. Highs only near 50. Thursday and Friday will warm things up by the time we get those north, or I should say offshore and dry winds. We'll start to see some warming conditions for the Sierra. For the foothills, we've got highs in the 60s for our Thursday, mostly dry, and then we get into that very windy weather for Friday. Highs will warm back into the mid 70s. And again, along the coast, we're still under that red flag warning as well. Highs will be warming into the mid 70s, mostly sunny skies with those offshore winds. We see very little in the way of fog, which can unfortunately help to drive up that humidity, but we're just not going to see it. I'll look at the 3-day forecast. Well, we've got our weather impact alert starting up on Thursday afternoon. That will continue through Friday and through Saturday. You can see how those temperatures start to warm as well with those dry, warming winds. And then we're seeing some pretty quiet weather for the rest of our forecast, including the end of our weekend and through next week. So we got some decent weather ahead next week. It's all eyes on this 3-day period here with the dangerous fire conditions. Again, download that ABC 10 Plus streaming app. We'll keep you posted there as well as on ABC 10.